This is our second day here in Tenerife. Keep an eye on many sunburned players, and I know there is a couple of them that are glowing, and there's one near me that's also glowing a little bit too red.
Oh, it hurts.
Is it? How's it feeling, man? How's it feeling? It's a little bit raw. It is, of course, still all very close in the standing, so let's check out them and see how it looks before today's games. As you can see at the top of the table is new leaders. Gambit up there, the Russians. You just heard Diamond Proc saying how happy he was that the Spanish crowd seemed to really be liking him. We did see Alex signing a chest yesterday, and it was of the female kind. Not sure how his wife felt to that one, but of course, after yesterday's win against the Lemon Dogs, they managed to claim that top spot. Slipping, though, into second place after a disappointing performance is Alternate, who are now tied with Ninjas in Pajamas, who have been themselves on a bit of a recharge since last time in Moscow. They were in last place in Moscow, week 2. They have got themselves into second. Another great turnaround by NIP. What a great game by them. Then, of course, tied for 4th place, it is the Lemon Dogs and Fnatic. After both teams lost yesterday, their opening games here in Tenerife.
And of course, with Meet Your Makers and Evil Geniuses win yesterday, they're all tied up for that 6th place spot. And of course, SK kind of round off the bottom of the standings in that 8th place with a 6-10 record. But remember, with 2 days of games left, there's a lot of standings that can really shuffle around, and we're going to see as that goes on throughout the days. But in the meantime, we do have a game coming up, so let's take a look at the lineups. Yeah,
of course, starting out on the blue side, it will be Meet Your Makers. Yesterday wasn't too great for them. They did okay, though. Kubon in that top lane, Makata in the jungle, Sharu in that mid lane, Makler as the AD carry, and Big Libic as support.
Big Libic, and of course, over on the red side for Fnatic, we have Soaz in that top lane, Sana in the jungle, Xpeke in the mid lane, Pushu and Yellow Star's AD carry and support.
I believe it's Eki Peki, isn't it? Something like that in Spanish. I think that's what they call them. But before we go any further, let's see who you guys at home, the community, thinks will win this one. Jason, what does it look like?
It's actually very heavily in favor of Fnatic. 74% of you think that they're going to win.
Shock horror.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree and also disagree at the same time, because Meet Your Makers, their whole composition, they used their state looked very strong, and Fnatic obviously didn't look amazing, but anything can really happen overnight.
They've got a big fan base, so there's no surprise it's up there. Remember, you guys can head over to lolesports.com. That's where you can vote on who you believe will be winning these matches at this event, and it's going to be happening all weekend. We've got a lot of matches tomorrow as well. So let's see how these teams stack up. Fnatic looked asleep at the wheel yesterday. The crowd did their best to pump them up, but they just couldn't make their split push strategy work. If they're going to have a good weekend, they need to wake up and energize their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, they really had all the tools they needed to deal with Evil Genius's double AD composition that they threw at them, but that goal deficit they kind of got stacked up further and further away from them, just kind of held them back. And they also seem to lack that little bit of an extra edge that we normally see them have when they win these games. They did run Severe, though, for the first time. Is it Sivir or Sivir? Sivir or Sivir? Sivir. I'm going to say Sivir, sorry.
Sivir.
I was hearing so many different ways. Sivir for the first time. And it wasn't amazing, but he did have that fantastic spell shield onto the Unstoppable Force and the Caitlyn ace in the hole that kind of wowed everyone. But it didn't really seem to offer exactly what Pushu and Fnatic needed to kind of win that game.
It wowed everyone, but I'm still not sure whether it was a bug or it was working as intended. I even asked a number of people this morning. Patrick Scarborough is here, though, so he's one of the main design guys, so we'll be able to check out whether it is with him, as well as Daniel Klein, by the way. He's here, another designer as well now. Used to be a caster, you may recognize him. On the other hand, though, Meet Your Makers, they did look great. They look great, like a team that honestly has finally started to get back into the hype that they started out back in DreamHack when they went 4-1. They've only won 1 game in the studio, though, so they're definitely more comfortable playing in front of big crowds.
And more importantly, they were able to pick up their first win in 5 games. You know, the whole mental effect of losing that many games in a row, and you can never really go underestimated, but the AoE control composition they ran yesterday destroyed SK. And with that win, though, I'm sure they kind of have like a sigh of relief. They're like, finally, the pressure's off of us. We're starting to get a couple of wins. They probably feel a lot more relaxed.
Interesting, we just saw Soaz on the screen there, and he's been actually pretty vocal about how he wasn't happy about playing Shen yesterday. We'll see whether his team forces him into that. It's a champion he doesn't like, which is unusual because you always associate Soaz playing everything, but it's definitely a champion he didn't appreciate. We saw Kuban, of course, he did pick Zach, and he went 4-2-6. Seems to be working out well from him. At least he's been banned away from him pretty heavily lately.
Yeah, I give him a lot of credit because that was his go-to champion. Even back in the summer promotion tournament, he loved to play that. And when he realized every team's like, hey, we ban out Elise, he's not going to be as strong, he's really been pushing it. He's really been trying really hard to learn these new champions, and it's really been showing off, I have to say.
Yeah, so these teams currently are 1-1, I believe, tied between each other is how it stands. Yes, it is. It's looking towards the stats. And so the last time these guys won, it was week 4 where Fnatic picked up the win. Because it was, I believe, week 1 where Meteor Makers beat Fnatic.
Right.
I'd have to double check that.
No, I believe you are right. And the thing was, that was when Meteor Makers actually ran Zilean in the mid lane. Yes. So they had Nocturne in the jungle, they had Zilean, and they had Zac in the top lane. So they kind of used the bomb delivery system, so the ball delivery system. It worked out quite well for them, but Zilean just didn't seem to work out too well in the end of the game.
Well, they've had they're one of the teams that always sits a little different from everyone else. They have Kuban and Charu in the side there, and you can see it's Makata actually in the middle next to Makta, his brother, and Libic to the side. So they don't go with the standard mid laner in the middle. They haven't set up as they are because I believe Makata makes all the calls. We are having the picks and bans coming in. Jarvan, Kassadin being taken away from Fnatic. No surprises there. Nunu being taken away by Fnatic. So Synad's not been overly successful with Nunu. His smites, all consumes, have just not been working. Twisted Fate also being taken away. That kind of affects both mid laners.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those picks that you want to take away. Fnatic doesn't want to let that go as a first pick, and obviously they don't really feel confident they'll be able to pick it up as a second, so just take it away. And the Kassadin obviously we target over to Xpeke, who actually very early, I believe it was a blind pick Kassadin into their match yesterday, and it didn't work out as well for him, honestly, but the Jarvan, so that is kind of an unusual ban lately. It was kind of banned out more in the beginning of the summer split, but it seems to be let through a lot more because people aren't too worried about it. But the thing is, Zac is still available. And I'm curious to see if Meteor Makers, if that's their goal, maybe go for that as a first pick.
Well, Shen's also out there, which is a champion that Meteor Makers do like. Makata runs it quite heavily, and sure enough, it gets locked straight in.
He's actually one of the few people that runs that Shen in the jungle. And
flash taunts all the time as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the Summer Promotion Tournament, the first game he played on it didn't do well, but he played the next 5, I believe it was, on it, and just smashed the teams completely. And we're going to see how it's going to work out here, but there's a downside of Shen in the jungle. If you kind of invade him a little bit, if you hold him back at the beginning a little bit, he kind of gets really slow, won't approach that 6 as fast as you really like him to. And with the current meta of how things go, you want to be invading. You want to be taking away buffs. You want to be counter jungling as much as possible. And that might hurt because Shen cannot really duel any of the current junglers.
We'll see how it works out. The fact that they know that Shen is going to be out there looking for blood. What will Fnatic decide to go with? Will they go for a jungler themselves? I'm seeing Charu's. He's debating. You can see fingers going around. He's like, they're going to pick this. We're going to go with this, and this.
I thought it was drumming.
Well, maybe he's just got a Shun going. He's just got a Pete going. I don't know. But it is going to be Xin Zhao and Nami being selected. So, again, it will be Yellowstar this time on Nami. Nami being very heavily picked throughout the European LCS this season.
I mean, she has just a fantastic kit. As you heard Reckless talking when he was playing with Nami, has that 1.5 second bubble that you have at level 1. You don't need to rank it.
Is it 1.5 or 2?
I believe it is actually 2 or 2.5. But it's a long bubble cooldown. And the thing is, it doesn't take the CC from it doesn't scale as you level it up. So you only need 1 point in it to really make it effective, and then you can level up obviously your heal or your extra damage on top of that. And it makes it so your AD carry can actually chase very well with that slow built in and with the movement speed you get from her.
Well, we'll see how they counter that one. Xin Zhao has been pretty successful in the jungle. A few times he has been picked in the LCS by a number of champions, and I'm thinking Diamond Price started playing him pretty heavily. Are we going to see Makla back on Vayne? If they do go for that, what will they match it with? Well, Orianna's going to get locked in pretty quick. Charu on Orianna has been pretty special lately. Yeah, I mean, not quite Bjergsen level though.
Oh, not like yesterday. That was ridiculous.
He was close to a record.
Yeah, 120 CS difference in the mid lane on that game. But as you saw earlier on today, I believe even actually in OGN that just happened a couple of hours ago, how effective Orianna can really be. If you land that ultimate onto 3 or 4 members, especially if you get really fed, you can blow them up instantly.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if Charu's going to be able to do that yet again. And he also changed up his style yesterday. So normally he's the type of person that will save the teleport for late game and just kind of split push with it and join fights. But yesterday, he was very aggressive with that teleport, really coming into lanes, really making ganks work.
Well, Draven, remember, we are on 3.8. Looks like it might get selected. And if Jace goes in as well, that's going to be a lot of long-range damage coming at them. Will that be Soaz, though, on Jace in the top lane, or will it be Peke? We'll find out.
I think that would be Soaz. I mean, if you think back to Gamescom last year, that was his main champion, and you saw him go up against a Shen. Obviously not to be this time, but he just demolished
with the Jace,
it was actually against Cursey U, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, so most likely going to be playing that one. I'm sure when he saw Kuban lock in that Shen, he's like, oh, thank you. I don't have to play Shen this game.
Thank you. You got to go French for Soaz. I don't know. Which is French for thank you? I don't even know. Why am I asking an American? Of course it is. Sometimes my mind is not quite in there. Yeah, that's impressive. You are learning as you come into the European culture. But the final pick's coming out from Meteor Makers. Enough talking about thank yous. Let's see what they do go with. It's, of course, going to be the support player.
Zach is still open. I'm sorry.
Zyra's open for Libic as well.
I'm amazed that they're letting this many comfort champions get through to Major Makers, but currently they have 3 of 5.
Yeah, and if they go Zach and... Oh, okay. Bear. Okay, so that actually could be a Shen in the top lane.
That worries me a little bit because Jace destroys him in that lane, and if anyone knows how to do that best, it would be Soaz. Even switching over to Makati here, so there's not a lot of AoE damage coming out of Fnatic, but the early game presence of Maokai has actually talked to Snoopy a week ago about it. He's so strong early, he's so good early. It's just about if you're really effective in landing these ganks. But I am really surprised because they lack a little bit of damage, but you have a Vayne late game, so it doesn't really matter. She's going to be extremely strong, going to be able to carry a team.
You got a lot of crowd control there, a lot of lockdown as well. The ball delivery system, as we like to call it, with the Maokai and Shen possibly all going in there, along with Sharu's defensive ball. Libic looking like he's going to lock in. He has. So he's gone with Zyra. Most deaths in the LCS on Zyra. Not the great stat to have, but
supports, at least.
He is a support, and you wouldn't tell it to his face.
Oh no, he would punch you. but Fnatic though, I mean, just the fact that Mutual Makers didn't pick Zac and Fnatic's taking this long on their last pick, I think it caught them off guard. I think they were trying to bait them into a Zac pick to just kind of punish them here, and now they're like, all right, well, what do we do? What do we need to pick here? Because they have that top laner to go for.
Or will it be Ahri maybe, or will it be Lissandra? And Lissandra actually could be played by either Soaz or Pekka. We have seen Soaz running it already, so that actually may be Soaz, that makes me think.
Yeah, I would. I don't. That's a really tough call. I mean, it's 2 champions though that you can pick will catch their team off guard in terms of you're not sure who's going to go where, because you know Soaz plays Jace, you know Xpeke can play Jace, you've seen Soaz play Lissandra already, you know Xpeke can obviously play Lissandra, so you're not 100% sure exactly what to do. And the thing is, with having an AD champion and an AP champion, it kind of messes up the rune pages of Kuban or whoever is going to be going up against them, where they want to get the optimal advantage they can.
And what got me was when we saw Charu and Kuban actually was talking about the teleport that Charu runs. Teleport is not their tactic. That's just something Charu does. But we are seeing Peke having to counter it with a teleport of his own. Yeah,
actually, because of Charu always taking that lately, and a lot of other mid laners picking up, everyone seems to be taking it just to follow around because they realize how strong it really is in lane. And it's not really about killing your lane. It's about interacting with the other lanes to help them out.
Lanes, yeah.
Exactly. So he's going to be working that one pretty well. He actually is a type of person that likes to use it early on, so he's very aggressive with his teleport, contrary to Charu, who likes to be very aggressive late game with it, with that split pushing. So I want to know, is Charu going to change up his style like he did yesterday, maybe be aggressive with it early, or is he going to kind of maybe push Xpeke till later?
Well, there is Xpeke on his screen, the crowd appreciating the Spanish player. Will Spain actually pick up a win today? That's the question, because they lost all 4 matches yesterday. Didn't work out so well for them. They are up against the Polish powerhouse of Meteor Makers, who maybe could be back on the rise. We'll see how it works out. There is the new man, Pushu. Well, not so new these days. I guess he's been here for a couple of weeks. Yellowstar now as the support. You may recognize him, obviously, as many roles back in SK Gaming and Fnatic as the AD carry.
I have a question for you looking at this, because, you know, we did see Reckless play earlier on today, and Fnatic and Harry, particularly the managers, made it very vocal that when he turns 17, they want to pick him up on their roster. So, Pushu, looking at how well Reckless played earlier, do you think that's going to push him into the next step? Like, he's going to have to try even harder here?
Push him into the next step.
Okay, I did not mean for that one.
Okay, really? No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pressure on him, honestly.
Like,
and I still don't know really how it stands, because he turns 17 on the 20th of September, and as far as I'm aware, the World Finals begin before that. I don't exactly know. It's going to be something that the Riot esports department's going to have to pour over the rules on. I know there's a lock, certainly a roster lock on the 26th of August, but of course, it's all down to whether Fnatic qualify in the first place. So,
exactly.
Nevertheless, he will be there in Season 4, absolutely guaranteed. And Pushu is aware of that fact. Let's see how the Level 1 works out between these two teams. If you have just joined us, this is the LCS. We are back underway here live in Tenerife, and the Meteor Makers are starting out as the blue team, and you can see Peke there just edging himself in. Will be starting out. It's going to be Fnatic on the red team.
And it looks like with the CC that Mutual Makers has, they really want to push their advantage early on. They really want to go for some sort of engage here. Remember, Pushu, he has Draven. Draven is ridiculously strong level 1 with that damage with the spinning axes. So Mutual Makers might need to be a little careful here. They might be able to catch someone. Actually, they might be able to, really.
Is he going to go for Twisted Advance early on? It would be a tough... No, he has. He's leveled up Twisted Advance. He's gone very deep in there on towards Peke, who's going to be the focus target. Makata's taken very low. He goes down at the side. Cyanide very low, just needs one hit. The Ignite tick's not going to do it. And it is actually Fnatic coming out very well. Makla goes down. It's a double kill for Pushu. What a fantastic start. It's 3-0 for Fnatic already.
And we just talked about how strong Draven is off the bat with his damage, and he showed right there, picking up a double kill. He's going to go to lane very happy with that extra gold when he decides to go back, and just a complete counter to Meteor Maker's engaged. And Makate, like you're saying, is he going to take Twisted Advance? Is he going to go for it? He ended up doing that, but because of the flash out of Xpeke to get him into the middle of the Fnatic team, he just got blown up.
And that's really going to hamper his start here. He's going to need a lot of help. If he's taking Twisted Advance at level 1, Libic is going to have to do a lot of work to help him out here. He's not got those saplings to throw in, and he's going to need all the help from Makla and Libic to take this completely down.
Yeah, so he's going to be extremely slow. Now, Cyanide, I mean, Zinzai, you benefit from it a little bit more. He did take his 3 talent strike, so it honestly doesn't slow him down too much at all because you get that extra hit per strike here. But we're going to have lane swaps come in, so Meteor Maker is going to have Makla and Libic in the top lane against Xpeke. And then we're going to have, obviously, Pushu and Yellowstar against Kuban in the bottom lane here. And with the double kill on the Pushu so early on, Kuban's going to have a very tough time. And it's shown in the past that if he gets pushed a little bit, if he gets really aggressed on, he has a hard time dealing with it.
And you can see there Peke's stats. He is definitely an aggressive player, has the most kills, which does surprise me because it used to be Alex Ich that was always up there in the high stats in terms of most kills. But this time he is in the 2v1 lane, so we'll see how that works out against them. And this is the versatility that Fnatic do have. There's a number of teams that can do this. Obviously, Ninjas and Pajamas are another one that can do it. We do see the grasping roots on Peke straight away. Here's a question for you in terms of Rift myths.
Gosh.
If Vayne condemns onto grasping roots, does it stun them where they stand?
I've been hearing a couple different things. I haven't officially tested out, but I heard with Thresh's hook, if you condemn them on the hook, it does lock them up. So I'm not sure if Grassroots does, but I would assume that it would not condemn them, but it would still push them to the wall.
No, we're going to have to do some testing on that when you get your Rift myths back underway. But nevertheless, at the moment, it is a big advantage at the start for Fnatic. 3-0 up here. Now, also gives them a 1.5k gold lead. And, well, in terms of CS, both top laners, Kuban, who you can see on the tower there, and Peke, not really being able to get too involved in terms of taking CS, but they're going to be happy. They're comfy sitting on the turrets, so they are getting CS eventually, which you see Peke now doing. Still yet to see Kuban pick up a single CS.
Yeah, and luckily for Kuban, though, is that in his lane, if Pushu does hit him with the spinning axe on him, then Pushu can't get close enough to hit him with another auto attack, so he'll be able to farm a little bit easier once the wave does get into his lane. But we do see teleport coming out Soaz very early on.
Condemn used by Makla to knock Peke back. Are they going to low focus on the right target? 3 talent strike on towards Makla, but he's doing a lot of work on towards Cyanide. He takes Cyanide down. Peke is now very low around the side there. He does manage to get the kill. It was Soaz there. Sorry, he managed to finish that one off onto Makla. Now they're going to try and back away. Charu teleports in. Makata gets the Twisted Advance on him. He's going to try and turn back around on Libic. I don't think he's going to have enough. No, he's not. Charu picks up the kill. And just like that, they turn around. And a lot of teleports used in that fight, but it was a 2-for-1 to Meteor Makers.
Yeah, great job by Makata to be in the right position at the right time, and then Charu to react, hey, I can probably teleport in here and help out as well. And we didn't even notice, actually, I know I didn't notice that Soaz is the one with teleport here, since they did obviously switch champions up, but that was a great job. I mean, it was a smart play by Soaz to really get interactive with the other lanes, but Charu just responded right away.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. While that was all happening down the bottom as well, we did see Kuban getting a little bit harassed. He has managed to pick up a bit of CS, though. He is still sitting on that turret, but that turret is taking a lot of damage now from Yellowstar and Pusher. You can see it's already down below half. We just saw the Shadow Dash actually on towards Yellowstar. He's going to take a couple of tower hits. We see just coming down the side is going to be Charu. Can he get around? He does get spotted out by the Tribush ward, so he should be able to get away from this one. Yellowstar and Pushu stay safe once again.
I really like what Charu did right there, because the thing is, when you roam around like that before you're level 6, the chances of you getting a kill kind of diminish a little bit, but the fact that he had his mid lane pushed out before he did that means he won't miss out on too much in the end, which you see reflected in the CS.
And in terms of walking away from his lane, McKenna actually needs that little bit of a help, a little bit of a hand at the start, messing up. He's going to get a little bit of lane tax here as Charu does go back to buy, gets himself that Tear of the Goddess and the double Dorans. So he's going to be in good form against Soaz. So as you can see, stacked out those double Dorans and a longsword. I expect to see a couple more longswords to follow as well, honestly. We'll see how they build up. Macklin versus Peke in the top lane. In terms of CS between the two ADs, actually a big gulf happening here, because the fact that Pushu did get a big advantage at the start, he's 41 CS to 24, and of course those 2 kills he got, and this turret's going to go down.
Yeah, it's going to go down very quickly, and that'll allow Fnatic to send their AD carry support lane against the AD carry support of Meteor Makers. And one thing for Xpeke that's kind of dangerous, if you see Makati coming down, not going to go in for the gank, is that Libic got the double buffs. So if you get hit with one Grasping Root, you're gonna get slowed obviously from the Grasping Root and the red buff. Also take true damage, and that allows Mako to get in there and really kind of maybe go for the kill. And this is why Suned's really camping up here, because he realizes Xpeke needs a lot of help. They want to potentially take away this double buff from Libic, and if they can get that to Xpeke, it's going to be fantastic.
A little bit of poke there from Peke. He's going to keep going. They're diving into Libic here. Can they get them double buffs back that you just mentioned? Cyanide, though, taking a lot of damage. Condemned. Makla's going to take him down. It's Libic, actually, that picked up the kill, would you believe it? And now Makla's chasing on towards Peke. Peke low on mana. Very heavy consuming mana, like Lissandra is. And we do see, finally, he couldn't get a lot out. I can't get a lot of words out either. It is, though, Libic, the #1 KDA for supports yesterday. That's a good stat, considering his highest deaths before.
Well, I'm thinking back to Intel Extreme Master Singapore, where you, myself, and Joe were there, and he actually led his team in kills in one of the games. Actually, he was like 5-0-4 because he picked up so many kills. But Makati's coming to this top side. Xpeke, he's got to be careful here.
He's back on towards Peke. He's going to be able to get away from it. The third strike does come out there. I can never remember the bonus. Silver bolts, that's the damn one. See, this is what... Trevor goes away for a quick shot, leaves me. I just lose track of all spell names. I don't feel the pressure anymore.
Well, Meteor Makers are going to be very aggressive here, try to take this turret down to respond to the turret they lost at bottom lane. And right now, Meteor Makers, they actually are down quite a bit of gold, being 7.5 minutes in. But with their composition they have, it really doesn't matter right now. As long as they make it so Soaz doesn't get too far ahead and they keep Xpeke down, which they've done a phenomenal job so far. And they're going to be quite far ahead, though. Xpeke, he does have 3 assists. He hasn't died just yet, but those 3 assists are really going to help carry him out of this early game into the mid game.
Well, considering the start, this is actually really good development from Meteor Makers. They've managed to hold their own in the lane phase. It is going to be Fnatic taking the dragon here. Meteor Makers not going to be able to respond to this one. They're equal in turrets, but this is going to stretch that gold lead once again in Fnatic's favor, but it had closed the gap quite heavily. It's still only 1,500 between them, which is what it was straight after that initial engagement at level 1.
Yeah, and I mean, because Fnatic has their AD carry support bot lane, and they know that Kubon was the one down there for Meteor Makers, they realized, hey, they're not really going to have any wards on here, so it should be a very easy dragon. Pick that one up with ease, and now Meteor Makers actually, they took away the red buff away from Fnatic, so phenomenal job. But you do see Xpeke did spot it, did put a ward down, and trying to keep control of their own jungle, because that's the really dangerous part. Meteor Makers are known for doing that. They like to take a turret down, be aggressive in your own jungle, and put a lot of wards down, then counter jungle you. But Fnatic, they're trying to stop that with this coverage.
And we're seeing a different build coming out from Soaz as well. He's gone for that Brutalizer early on. Hasn't got the Tear of the Goddess in there yet. You do see Makata, he's going to go over towards the red buff. Looks like he's going to be giving that one to Charu. No, he's not. He's going to take it himself. Greedy. He's not going to give it Charu. Charu, I thought maybe going to get it for the attack ball, but instead we do see just hanging off the side. Kubon is going to come around. He's getting on towards Soaz, gets the Shadow Dash across. There's the pull. Is he going to pull him in? There's the Shockwave. Is it going to be enough damage? Hammers him away. Kubon will have that Shadow Dash back available, but Kubon seems happy to use that acceleration gauge, turns the Shock Blaster back on Charu, and goes to safety.
Yeah, they really wanted to get that blue buff off of him because he doesn't have a tier, so his siege potential just is nothing right now because they're running out of mana too quickly, as Libic now can be sit down here in the bottom lane with Mackler. And with how far ahead Pushu is with that BF sword, I'm pretty sure Pushu should be able to win this trade as long as he doesn't get condemned and as long as he doesn't get CC'd too bad by Libic.
But how long, just how long will that advantage remain in Pushu's favor on Draven compared to a Mackler on Vayne? Vayne, of course, we've seen so many times, does get very strong late game. He's got to get there, though. He's behind in CS, 56 to 79, so there is a big gold advantage. You can see it's 1,100 gold, so that's a huge advantage for an AD carry to have over your opponent. And the fact they are in lanes against one another, although saying that, it looks like there will be a change. Fnatic actually 5-man stacking in the mid here. Maybe they're going to try and create a situation.
Yeah, what Fnatic did right there is they know Pushu's ahead, so he's stronger than Mackler. So what they're doing is they're trying to control a lot of early objectives by taking that dragon very early on, as we do see them trying to go to Charu. So they're trying to push the advantage they have right now to make sure that Pushu stays as far ahead as Mackler as possible for as long as time as possible.
Oh, Fnatic trying to bully themselves into something here. We do see Pushu and Yellowstar going to return back towards that bottom lane. Mackler is on his own down there at the moment, so we'll see where he goes for anything here. They're still lingering, seeing if they can get on towards Charu. But the fact that Kubon's back in that top, they're going to have to deal with him. We do see Peke and Cyanide heading that direction, so they're going to prevent him pushing that lane down further. There is the aggression coming out from Makler this time, actually, on Pushu. The 2 silver bolts built up there. Didn't get the 3rd strike on towards him, which is what he was looking towards. Get that spike of damage. Instead, they're just going to clear out the wave. They're going to push it on. A lot of pings going down on Makata, actually, around that mid lane, so Soaz is very much aware that there could be a gank coming.
Yeah, Makata's been very effective early on, and he's taking advantage of the lack of wards that Fnatic's been putting down, but now because we're kind of approaching that middle game, as we do see Pushu get aggressive on Makler, and as we approach that middle game, is that Fnatic's putting a lot more wards down. They're trying to cover a lot more of the entrances, so Makata's potential of these ganks kind of diminish. He's got to be very sneaky, maybe even have Luke pick up a relatively early Oracle. Not, not right now, maybe in about 5 minutes to really kind of excel their mid game into the late game power, but we're going to see as obviously time goes on.
You saw briefly there just that little trade that Pushu and Makler had, just how strong Pushu is right now, and it did take him down to about half health. Had to quickly lifesteal it all back, which is what Makler's doing right now. We'll see how that works out. Draven does have a good win rate in the hands of many players. In fact, mainly I'm thinking back to Kraton when he used to run it, and he was the NIP man. Freeze. He's got a 100% win rate with Draven, which is why he gets banned out against him so often.
Even though Gensha plays him too. He's played him 1 game.
Yeah, not so often though. He's more of a Ash and Misfortune man, who we still see coming out
tears with. Yeah.
Anyone he can stack the tears with, indeed. Kubon stood on top of a ward, so as he's not going to get fooled for that one. He's already been pinged out, so no surprise there. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, that's going to be where the Stranglethorns goes down. He does pop up Yellowstar. Makata was in there, but didn't manage to get the twisted advance on anyone. There wasn't really worth going for. They already spotted it out. In fact, there's a ward deep down there that saw Makata coming in.
Yeah, it seems like that's how people are starting to ward up right now, because the only real avenue to gank a lane is through the lane. I mean, you really ward off the tri-bush, usually the river. So by doing that, you pretty much eliminate the jungler from having that potential. And if you don't let them know, if you don't back off right away or something like that, you really delay on the jungler, keep them a little bit behind, so your jungler can really kind of counter them a little bit. But Meet Your Makers, they're going in for a blue buff invade here, and potentially might go down bottom as a 4-man group, as a 5-man group.
Fnatic backing away from this one. It is a 5-man group, and it's a, you could say, a blue man group. It is. Meet Your Makers is blue. Oh, that was bad.
That was a Jason level joke right there.
That was Jason level. It is going to be the tower nevertheless, and that's going to be 2-1 for Meet Your Makers in terms of turrets. Soaz is going to put pressure on there, but Charo already returning. He's going to be able to block that one off. Dragon, as you can see, will be back up in a minute's time, so Meet Your Makers, they are backing off just at the right time. Woo! Their shock blasts are starting to do damage. He has got that Tear of the Goddess built up now. He's going to go for a blue steal himself.
Oh, he actually had a perfectly what?
Or is he not?
I think he walked by, not assuming he was going to be up, but he is able to come to his top side, and looks like they want to try to take this turret down. They might have the damage for it. A little bit surprised. He didn't want to try to take away the blue, but understandable. You don't want to die at this point in the game when you're that mid laner, especially on that Jace. You need to be able to snowball a little bit harder here. And with the items he has, he's already starting to do it. And Makata already taken a heavy amount of damage. He's forced them off the blue. And Charo, he's got to run up here quickly. Livic's already in the process of coming up here, but it's going to be stolen away.
He was too slow to react to them. Makata's going to have to use his smite to maybe steal this one, which means he won't have it available for the Dragon if he does. We do see Charo coming up, though. It has been reset again. They're going to try and keep stealing this. You see Yellowstar just off the side. Makler now. There is a 4-man defense from Meet Your Makers to make sure they get this blue buff. Will it work out? Soaz is ready and waiting with that shock blast to try and steal it away. Oh, nearly got it, but it was Charo that got it in the end.
And if only Meet Your Makers knew exactly where Xpeke was right there, they could have went for a 5-on-4 or 5-on-4 or even 5-on-3 because Pusher wasn't even there, engaged. But still, they get the blue buff barely on a Charo, which is a really huge win for Meet Your Makers. And now, Nako's trying to be a little bit grouped up here. They might go for a push on a turret, or they might actually go for Dragon here because they can't afford to let these objectives just to keep slipping out of their hands.
Well, they're in the situation where they can leave Kubon, just keep on free farming in that top lane. Peke has to get involved. He either needs to come down, which he's just been warded out on that tri-bush, or he has to come down and get involved for it. But of course, Meet Your Makers, they haven't taken that mid lane turret. They may well try and push for that. The same with Fnatic. That could well be the focus of target. As it is, it is going to be Makler going straight back down to that bottom lane, so he's happy to keep his farming going. He has fell behind Pushu in terms of CS. We're seeing Kubon, though, he's having to try and get away from this one. Peke did use his ultimate. He's going to get caught out 3-time strike. Will bounce him up. He's got that red buff. Should be enough to slow him down here. The passive shield did come out, but Peke finally picked himself up a kill in that top lane.
That was great restraint by Cyanide to let that kill go over to Xpeke, but in the meantime, Meet Your Makers like, all right, you kill him, but we're going to take the Dragon, because in the end, it's going to be worth it for them, only if Fnatic doesn't take this turret, which it looks like with these two members here, they're going to be able to do.
They're definitely going to take the top turret. The question is, will they be able to take the mid one as well? They do have Soaz and Pushu here alongside him with Yellow Star. They may well try and drive for it. That was the first Dragon for Meet Your Makers. Meet Your Makers are coming in. It's a teleport from Charu into the top lane. Is it going to be enough to defend it, or will they be able to get on towards it? They catch him out, catch a glimpse of him there. Peke does take down the turret, so now he's in a 2v1 situation. There's a second teleport coming in. This time it's Soaz, and there's going to be Stan United. Comes down, but he just gets demolished. He's not going to be able to take down Cyanide, and Kubon may well go down for this one as well. Soaz is surely going to turn around. Acceleration shock blast in there. Yellow Star gets the steal in the end.
Poor Kubon, he just got back up, and then he ends up dying again right away, so that was 2 deaths. But that was a great try by Meet Your Makers to come in there. Charu wanted to make a big play, but he didn't expect Soaz to follow. He didn't expect there to be a ward in that bush. Ended up getting killed, ended up losing double buffs over to Cyanide now, and that unfortunately does hurt them quite a bit.
But will Mackley be able to pick himself an advantage here? I'm not too sure if he's got enough to take this turret down as quick as possible. No, he isn't. We're going to see Push who's going to come back out there. He should be able to clear out the minion wave. But advantage is going back to Fnatic once again. 7-3 up in kills. Gold advantage continues to stretch, and it is starting to look good for them. Maybe, just maybe, with the home crowd behind them cheering for Peke the moment he picks up that first kill at 1-0-5, it may well go Fnatic's way today.
It always could. I mean, we've seen how impactful Lissandra can be. We've seen how impactful Jace can be once you get into that siege potential, which his tier is building up in that mana immune into a mirror mana, and quite a bit. It's only 212 stacked up out of 750, so it's going to take a while for that to really take effect. But Meet Your Makers taking that dragon. They're keeping themselves within gold reach of Fnatic, only down about 3,000 at this point, which honestly isn't too bad with how the way this game's been going. But they are still all tied up in turrets here, and Meet Your Makers, I want to know where are they going to respond to next, and with both the teams pretty much heading middle at this point, it looks like mid lanes are going to be the big fights. Makata
trying to get as much farm as he could in the mid lane, but realizing that Fnatic, there are 5 members closing in on him. He's not going to be able to hold this turret. He's going to have to back away. If that Aqua Prism would have landed, he would have gone down with it. Peke is still coming around the side, warding it out. So Fnatic in good position to try and dive on towards this turret. He's just lingering around that red buff, hoping to see Makta. He's just thinking, is he going to come cutting through this way? Makta, though, being wise, going a long way around there to try and defend out this turret.
And we talk quite a bit about Mackler and his micromanagement ability with Vayne, with Kog'Maw, with champions like that, and he's honestly a phenomenal Vayne. But right now, Kubon, he's behind them. He wants to set up for a potential fight here, but I'm not really 100% sure they can win this.
I'm not sure if they have the damage. Now that Peke's also got that Zhonya's Hourglass as well, he's going to be in full troll mode. Dive in, throw that ulti out, and just pop out that Zhonya's Hourglass, and everybody will turn and focus on towards him. And he's built up a big advantage over Kubon in terms of CS as well. So there is a lot of advantages for Fnatic right now. Fnatic choosing not to go for it though. Pushu is going to say, look, there's a big wave at the top. I'd rather take this chunk of gold. And Meet Your Makers realizing they're in a 5-on-4 situation. They're going aggressive. They're putting the damage down. Shockwave comes out, pulls in Cyanide in Yellow Star. It's not enough damage though, as you mentioned. That wasn't a lot of damage, just the Yellow Star, let alone anyone else.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a little unfortunate, but Yellow Star does have quite a bit of health built up right now with the Sightstone, and it has the health crystal on top of that. But I was expecting Meet Your Makers to maybe go for that fight onto turret, but it's really hard to dive a team like Fnatic right now, where Sonic can knock you away. We do have the ultimate coming out of Nami right here. Who are they going to catch?
Yellow Star catches 2 with the wave. Aqua Prison on towards Makata. He gets knocked to one side. Peke comes in there. Is it going to be enough? Makata's Ignite's going down. Good taunt coming out. Pushu exhausted as well. He has to step away. It's Peke that gets the kill on Makata eventually. Now they're closing in on towards Limik. Soaz with the shock blast on Kubon. Catching out the side. Soaz! Peke catches out Charu. Drops him straight down there. But Makla back in there. Stan United comes out and he's going to try and get on towards Peke. Can he get another bolt in there? No. He's caught in the Aqua Prison. Peke and Pushu with Soaz all turned back on towards him. He's taken low. The Ignite will be enough. He tries to lifesteal out of it. It's the Yellow Star that picks up the kill. We did see Limik actually getting the kill on towards Pushu in the midst of all that, but it was a crazy fight, but it was a 3-for-2 in favor of Fnatic.
And look at that, we have a new meta evolving here. The AD carries are now supports. Look at the score of both the supports on each team. 3-0 is just ridiculous, and it's really unfortunate because Vayne could really use those kills, but Fnatic taking that, pretty much losing 2 members, killing away, actually only 1 killing away 3, or sorry, what's 2, away 3, taking away the blue buff here, keeping that away off of Charu, who's trying to really stack up that damage. And remember back to yesterday, he actually did quite a few ultimates like the one he previously just did, where he'll just hit 1 member of Fnatic and try to knock them down or try to burst them down, but unfortunately for him, doesn't have that damage just yet, doesn't have that rank 3 ultimate.
And the thing is, Meet Your Makers had to know that was coming. They'd already used the shock blast, it hadn't worked, yet they stayed around. The moment Pushu got back there, the wave came out from Yellow Star. It was like, we are going to go for this one. But we do see Meet Your Makers taking that mid turret. That was what it was all about. So both mid turrets going down to both teams. It's 3-3, all the outer turrets are now down. It's all about who can focus on his inner turrets. Giant wave at the bottom that Peke is going to be picking up, getting himself a massive amount of farm advantage over Kuban, who's doing the exact same in that top lane. The AD carriers at the moment, as you mentioned, they've not been that lucky in terms of kills. They've not been able to pick up the assists either. There's only 4 assists from them, and just as you mentioned, to both supports 301 and 303, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and Pusher, he's been doing very well in terms of farm, and he's still holding this 40 CS lead over his counterpart Mackler. With Xpeke taking that farm on the bottom lane, he's at 145 CS to the 84, so he's really starting to spread quite far ahead of Kuban. And the thing is, Kuban, he went for a Doran's Blade so he could last it a little bit easier under his turret. And he doesn't have a Sunfire Cape done just yet, which Shen really needs if you want to split push quicker.
Well, as it stands, Fnatic with the lead. It's not a big lead, and as we've seen with the team fights, it's still pretty close. The targeting, if either team focus just correctly, just a little bit in them team fights. It seemed a little lackadaisical. Mackler taking a big shock blast there, so I was starting to do some damage, and Libic actually getting caught in the Aqua Prison. Another shock blast follows it straight up. The moment someone gets caught out by that one, the other star actually starting to become very accurate with that for the new support player that he is. And it does seem that Dragon is going to be the next focus target for Fnatic.
Okay, and Fnatic had to be a little careful here. I mean, obviously they do have the gold lead, so they have the damage to burst someone down, which is what their comp's kind of designed to do. But Matchmakers are team fight oriented. They do have the ultimate out of Orianna available, but they're just going to let that Dragon go.
There's the wave coming out. Will it catch Libic? Yes, it will. But oh, what a great grasping roots action Pushu. Throws down the Stranglethorns. He will get dropped. Libic finally goes down. It's going to be from Peke that picks up yet another kill there. The passive is not going to be able to snipe out anyone. And Fnatic, they get themselves a Dragon and yet another kill.
And importantly, with Libic down, that's their big CC chain out of Matchmakers to lock them down, so they might be able to push this turret down. We have Xpeke split pushing, taking the bottom turret, and they might get actually 2 inner turrets off of this. Yeah,
we see McKenna's already had to back off as well, so it's actually only a 2 to 3 man defense in this mid lane, but with Sharu, could have used the shockwave there. Oh, Mackler, he's going to walk straight past it. You're going to see Cyanide jump in. He does get caught in the Aqua Prism, but they back out the moment Kuban shows himself there. And Mackler did use his ultimate. Meanwhile, down the bottom, Peke cam in effect because he is continuing to split push that bottom lane.
I like the Peke cam in effect. That's perfect for him since he loves to backdoor. And we do have, obviously, Kuban coming down there to stop it. But that turret, I'm trying to be able to tell, it's actually very low right now, and he's going for the finish.
Well, we do see Shadow Dash coming out, but unfortunately they're going to turn around on towards Kuban. Kuban in all sorts of trouble. We're talking about the bottom camera. There it is now on your main screen, and Kuban will go down. Who will pick up the kill? It's another one for Peke. He's now 5-0-6.
And Peke, who's unstoppable considering he got camped a little bit with Makata. He's doing a phenomenal job of really holding his own here. Now I said 5-6 already, but he's trying to play it to the crowd here, and honestly, the crowd are really enjoying it. It looks like he finally might be the first Spaniard to take home a win in his home country.
McKenna just coming around the side. Oh, Fnatic thought about just going straight aggressive there. They could actually go on the turret. They have the numbers advantage, which is why you can see just in the top here on the screen now, they're going to dive in. This is going to be the first inner turret of the game, taken down by Fnatic. Second one, actually, that's unlikely. It did take the bottom one down a moment ago. Fnatic really driving it home here. They've still got a very big goal difference as well. And looking at it, it's around about 8,000 now, so that's stretched heavily in the last few moments.
Yeah, I mean, they were at 3,000 to 4,000 just before that Dragon fight. They ended up taking Dragon, taking 2 inner turrets, taking a couple of kills, and now up quite a bit of gold, and they can be able to back and buy up quite a few items, as we do see the death cap now done for Xpeke. So he has a Zonias and a death cap. That is ridiculous. His damage was already top-notch as it was previously in these fights, but it's going to be even harder to deal with. And you look at the goal difference between these two teams, just in terms of lanes, and it is really one-sided.
It's one-sided between Peke and Kuban. It's massive, honestly. It's 3,500. Yeah, 3,500 gold lead. That's a pretty sizable chunk. It's 1,000 gold lead for both the for the mid laner, but it's a 2,000 gold lead almost for the AD carrier as well. Remember, Pushu had 1,000 gold lead pretty much at the start with all those kills. Livic's going to get caught. It's going to be Peke, and like you say, they can't afford to lose that Oracle, but they have. And Fnatic once again massacre in that poor support. And we mentioned how heavy those deaths can be for him. Hasn't got any GP10 items, and that is going to hurt.
Yeah, he never actually picks up GP10 for some reason. He typically doesn't really use it, doesn't really need to. But the thing is that Oracle was so important because Fnatic is warding up like crazy the jungle of Muture Makers. You see Yellowstar, he has one himself, so he's clearing out any other vision that Muture Makers has. But when you lose control of your own jungle, you're going to lose control of your buffs, as you're seeing here. You're going to lose control of any kind of farm you can get right now. And Kuban, he's trying to respawn, he's trying to push that bottom lane, but Fnatic, they have the ability to go for Baron here if they want.
Well, he is on the inner turret, so that would be the first one for Meteor Makers, but straight away, Makata's going to get caught out of blue buff. He's going to get condemned, he's going to get pinned, and he will go down. He wasn't condemned, he was just blown up in the air. It was simply another Aqua Prison. Oh, Charu catches a Shock Blast. He's trying to sneak around the backside with his bolt, see if he can get any steals, but they're going to collapse in towards him while the rest of the team do Baron. Peke is going to come in and clean himself up. Another kill this time around. Charu's not going to be able to escape this one, or will he? No, he won't. Peke gets another, and the Baron will go to Fnatic. They're going to take the inner turret, though. You can see they're pushing on towards the inhibitor turret, so there might be some big losses here. Meteor Maker's pushing through the mid lane. You see Libic and Makler as well. They could take 2 inner turrets from this one. They're going for the inhibitor turret. Kubon's realized he's not going to get that. He's going to back off. Yeah, and it's a little unfortunate for Meteor Makers, but that was the best out of a bad situation. They realized there's no way we're going to steal Baron. We may as well try to punish them, take a turret or two, try to get a little bit of extra gold off of that. But now, for 26 minutes in, it's 15-5 in favor of Fnatic. The gold lead now at almost 10,000 gold. A lot of items come in on top of that with the Black Cleaver, the Mirror Mana now completed, and Soaz, who had a little bit of a tough time in the beginning, is now just really far ahead. And then you look over at Pushu. No attack speed on him, but has that Bloodthirster IE combo. And that is a big advantage now built by Fnatic. In terms of gold, it's nearly 10,000. We just caught a glimpse around there that Makler will be taking that red buff. He's happily taking that. But look at the gold across the spread. It's all, every champion is at least 1,000 gold ahead now. That is a big advantage, and you can see so as well. No surprise there that he is the second highest gold per minute top laner, because he tends to do it quite a lot. Oh, Makler caught out there. We do see Aqua Prison catching on. Cyanide wasn't expecting that. He'd already turned around. This time the 3-talent strike will land. Makler tries to get away from this one. Will it be enough? Peke's going to dive in for it. We do see Pushu also throwing out his ultimate. There's the hit, and Peke goes godlike. A little bit of misuse of that barrier, but great job by Peke just to wait it out and then go for the final blow. And really got to give Soaz a lot of credit with that highest GPM, because it's so hard to go into these 1v2 lanes and come out somewhat reasonable. I mean, Charu, he's getting dove on here. Peke goes and throws his ultimate down. Charu just gets melted. Cyanide's the one that picks up the kill there. At the moment, Peke has an enormous score, 7-0-9, I believe now. He's gone dominant since that early start. It's worked out very well for him. He's going to be the first inhibitor turret of the game going down. Meteor Makers all being pushed back to their fountain. And this is not a good sign for Meteor Makers. They have to somewhat deal with this, and Charu's still down for 20 seconds. He does have his ultimate available, but Fnatic, they're looking to clean up 2 inhibitors here. They're tanking it down. It's Pushu that's actually tanking it right now. He's going to step away. Doesn't matter. Inhibitor turret number 2 does go down. They continue on the shove. They're going to clear out the ways. Meteor Makers trying desperately to get back in there, but slowly but surely that inhibitor will go down. Kubon getting stepped aside there with his spinning axes. Just manages to step him off. There you go. Another inhibitor down. Fnatic going to step away from this one. Job done. Had a great job done too, just to catch out Meteor Makers consistently. Makler, how many wards did they put down in that base? I think it was 3. Actually, no, they put down 5. Wow. And they're being cleaned up. He's like, Libic, yeah, free money, woo! But this all goes back to the kill they had on Libic with that Oracle. Because of that, they weren't able to get control of their own jungle, get the vision control. And then, of course, Fnatic was able to pick up kills on the Makler, was able to get him out of the whole composition. Then they just dove Charu straight on the turret because they have the ultimate out of Xpeke available. And that's just the downside to losing something like that early on. And especially when you don't have the GP10 to really kind of counteract it and buy another one. And it's interesting he's gone for the Haunting Guys as well to get him some damage. Yeah, it's kind of a typical build. I mean, considering he was 3-0-1 in lane, he's doing like, well. Yeah, I can probably afford to go for a little bit of AP damage here, but ever since then he's been shut down quite well. Yeah, he's been absolutely taken out of this one. And looking at the ADs, you can see 2-1-6. Neither of them really have gone big. It's been all about Peke picking up and cleaning up the kills. Cyanide's been there pretty much starting everything out. The fact that there is only 17 kills, and you can see Peke, he's been involved in 16 of them. Oh, I think I'll be a little careful here. And so is Fnatic. They need to be a little careful, because right now Charu, he could teleport in behind him, but we do have trying to cut them off here, and Kubon actually might be in trouble, even Makler. Kubon might get spotted just coming around the corner there. He goes in towards Yellowstar, catches on towards Pushu. Is it going to be enough damage? Makler's going to try and put the damage down. He does get himself the kill. Charu comes in there. Now they do have the shockwave available. That's going to get used out. No, hasn't. He's holding on to it right now at the moment. Hasn't decided to go for it. They're going to try and get away from this one. Charu has to use that shockwave soon. There it is. It's too little too late though, and he's going to get dropped down. He will go down. It's going to be Soaz that picks up the kill. They're chasing out Kubon. They don't need to, in all honesty. There was a 4-for-1 trade once again, and they're still shoving down that top lane. Yeah, that was really like a last-ditch effort, and actually a great job with them to see that opportunity and go for it, but Xpeke, he's like, nope, we're not going to let you get back in this game. We're not going to let you pick this one up, because they did get a kill on the Makler. They were starting to take them out one by one, but they couldn't deal with the damage, and Cyanide, I don't know what he's doing. Well, he's just like, I want this turret. He wants to work his way in there. Peke is like, you know what? I know what I've got to do. I know my job. I need to get down there and take these turrets down. He's on towards the Nexus turrets. He's been involved in 20 of 21 kills, Peke. Definitely turning it around for the fans today, and it will be the first Spaniard taking victory. Will it happen just yet, though? That's the question. Peke is going to get exhausted. Zhonya's hourglass finally comes out. Soaz comes in. He smashes down Libic with the hammer. Turns around onto Makler. He's going to go down as well. It's Soaz that picks up yet another. Peke is still alive. Finally goes down. Peke's his first death of the game. It's a triple for Soaz. Can he get the quadra? He continues the hammer on towards Charu. Gets locked up by Kuban. Is forced to back away and thinks, you know what? We should probably just hit the Nexus right now. It's the job we should be doing. The Super Minions will do it for them. It's going to be Fnatic closing out the game. The Super Minions will do that job. They don't even need to hit it. Pushy wants to pad his stats. Instead, Charu turns it around and gets himself a kill. But nevertheless, it will be Fnatic takes the victory. The Nexus turret, is it going to go?
I don't think so. But here comes Yellowstar. He wants to finish it. He wants to pull next Peke.
Can he do what Peke couldn't? Simply put. Oh, he's teleported in Soaz. He's going to get in. The back door, of course, from Fnatic, as you'd expect. So it is the victory for Fnatic. The first one here in Tenerife over Meteor Makers, and a well-worked victory. 24 kills, 20 of those was involved Peke. The man in Spain seems to be shining at last.
Yeah, he's going to be happy after the performance, considering... Oh, you can see the crowd. They're loving it. They're loving that performance.
Absolutely, and why not? You know, when one of your Spaniards does well, finally, they had to wait a day for it, for someone to do well, but it worked out wonders. It's great to see the teams, they show good camaraderie here, always. It's a long stage to walk across, honestly, to go shake hands.
I'm looking at it right now, I'm like, I would get so tired walking across that, just from the exercise.
But it's the adrenaline dump you'll be getting from taking a victory in front of a crowd like this would be phenomenal. You can see Pushu there, he's the new member, and it was a good turn, good showing, honestly, from Meteor Makers, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be for them. Fnatic took the victory. We're going to go over to Freakin' Joe to take us through exactly how it all worked out.
Thanks a lot, guys, and an incredible performance there by Fnatic. XPK having a lot of fun. You could definitely tell that. Did die there at the end, so, you know, not quite keeping an amazing. That would have been an incredible amount of kills to add to his KDA from that one. Just that one death kind of spoiling it a little bit.
At least it'll up it a little bit.
Indeed, a lot. So let's talk about the game then. Of course, that's why we're here after all. And the very start of it, because it was the very start that really shaped it for Fnatic.
Yeah, there was a level 1 fight that MYM initiated on. They initiated on with the Maokai. He jumped in there, pulled XPeke. But basically then the rest of Fnatic was untouched. You had Yellowstar knocking down Nami Belbas. You had an untouched Draven at level 1 with spinning axes, which just immediately spells disaster. When you compare what he's going to do to what a Vayne's going to do, it's a very, very different scenario right here. Even a level 1 Lissandra compared to a level 1 Orianna, actually Lissandra's going to do a better job as well. So kind of categorically the team composition for Fnatic was better, and we do have actually a replay of that level 1 fight to kind of walk you through how that battle went down, because honestly Fnatic played that battle better and they got a huge kill lead because of it.
Well, let's get that replay up here and now walk you through exactly what happened once again at level 1 here. And like you said, it was Meteor Makers that came through into the Fnatic jungle to start it off.
Yep. So we're going to start with Makata jumping in on Peke, and now watch where the back line is. Pushy's going to kite backwards while attacking, and look at the health bars. So Makata just got screwed right there. Soaz is untouched up in the top side. The Shen taunt can only hit a few as Kuban comes in because Fnatic split up. So Peke actually got out. He's able to throw Qs across the team. Pushu's safe the entire time. And Libic burns his exhaust on Cyanide, thinking they can get the kill on Fnatic's jungler, not as a damage reduction on any of the big carries here for Fnatic. So Mikado will actually die despite flashing over the wall. Same thing happens to Charu as well. We'll play the rest of the clip out. 1 kill goes down, and Pushu is still just sitting in the background doing damage. Soaz gets the kill, well, Yellowstar gets the kill right there, and then Makler tries to chase down, doesn't use barrier, can't chase Cyanide out, and it's just an easy team fight win there for Fnatic because, well, they've got more people there. They've got them better positioned. Not more people, but they've got them better positioned. They've got higher damage from the ones that they do have there. And they just stretched out the lineup and to get hit by crowd control.
You've got to feel for Makata in that scenario as well, because he's like, I am going to go straight in on towards Peke, who, you know, mid-air from a twisted advance flashed backwards, which took Makata into the middle of the Fnatic team. And then I was like, it's all right, guys, I'm going to flash away. Oh, I am dead anyway.
And that's the response you have to take, right? It's a response where you pull him in, kill him first, then go from there. Well played by Fnatic, unfortunate for Meteor Makers.
Well, we're going to head over to the main stage because we got the man himself, XPK, for an interview with Shox.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, XPK. What a game for you on Lissandra. Tell us about that game, because you guys got ahead by that level 1 invade by MYM, and then they were able to get back in the game. So where did you take it from there?
Antes que nada, felicitarte por esa victoria, ha sido muy buena partida. Comentarte o preguntarte, mejor dicho, ese pedazo de early game que habéis tenido, ese primer invade, en el cual luego parece que Millionaire intentaba o estuvo a punto de remontar un poquito, pero al final, bueno, cuéntanos sobre eso.
Lo respondo en inglés primero y luego en español también. Gracias. Well, the level 1 invade, we had full vision. We were thinking they would try to invade because they always do it. So we put a lot of vision in our blue and waited in our red. And yeah, they invade like we thought, but we didn't think they would chase so much. Like, I was ready for it. I queued them all at first. They took some damage and got slow. And I thought if Maokai jump on me, I will flash. We can insta-kill him and then kill the rest of the team. And he did exactly that, which was really bad because I could queue his team. They lost, I don't know, all the team lost so much HP from AoE, and then we had Draven free hitting, we had Jace in the side free hitting, and I don't know, that fight, they shouldn't have gone in because they got really clutch, and we had a lot of AoE, and yeah, it was really good level 1. Con este también. Eso, lo que he dicho en español, que a nivel 1 hemos tenido un poco de suerte de que se han metido así tan a saco para adentro, porque no esperábamos que entrasen, es muy mala posición para ellos teniendo Lissandra. Y eso, han entrado, han empezado a llevarse daño de AoE. Yo con Lissandra les he metido 2 o 3 Qs. Jace y Draven estaban pegando de gratis. Al único que le ha hecho un poco de focus ha sido Sinzao, que se ha ido para afuera, y después de ese level 1 ya la teníamos más o menos controlada.
So, a dominating performance today. So what happened? Why was the focus off against EG yesterday?
Esta partida la han dominado, la han jugado perfectamente. ¿Nos podrías contar algo de qué pasó entonces ayer contra EG?
Yeah. Okay. I can hold it. Yeah, against EG, I think the picks were not the best. Like, we did good pick. Like, our main strategy was around first picking, like the 2 or 3 first pick. We didn't think about the last picks. And we were kind of happy that we got to pick Casa, then we got to pick Shen. We didn't think about the rest, and we picked really bad. We picked Sivir, which wasn't the bet in that team, and we picked Bolivar, which was really bad as well, I think. Besides that, we played poorly because, yeah, our team setup was really bad for team fights before level 11, at least. So they just grouped, took a lot of turrets, a lot of drakes, and we couldn't do anything pretty much. For the time we did team fight, it was really close, even if they were 6k ahead, but we didn't do anything. So I don't think we lost. I don't know. It's not a bad game. We know what we did bad. We didn't get completely outplayed. They played really good. They had a good strategy, and that's it.
Now, finalmente, Peque, este ambiente es increíble. Hay algo que quieras decirlo a los fans españoles.
A ver, sí, que muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí. Y Chillac como Chillac, da mucho gusto escuchar español. Normalmente siempre estás por ahí, escuchas a los guiris aplaudiendo a sus equipos. Y nada, gusto. Gracias.